Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of the Juan of Words podcast. I'm Juan Alanis.
My name is Angelica Casares.
And thank you for joining us for another episode. I think I'm too loud.
You hear yourself loud?
Yeah, I hear myself loud. What number am I?
You're 3.
3. Oh, okay.
No, that's me. 2.
I'm
You're
2.
2. Uh-huh.
Okay.
Put yourself like on a 7.
Okay. Is that better? That sounds better? Or no?
It sounds a little bit better. Pick it up just a little bit. So like that. Otherwise, get really close to the mic.
Okay. Is that better?
Yeah.
Okay, that's better. Sorry, guys. We're...
Pick it up and put it like in your mouth.
All right. Hopefully that's better.
Yeah.
Well, welcome back. Welcome back. It's another episode, a new episode. And, like we said, we're trying to stick to a new schedule. We're trying to stick to our plan of doing regular postings or regular episodes. But you know what? I was watching our last episode.
Yeah.
And
okay.
I was like, I make some really like ugly faces.
Yeah, you do. You've never noticed?
I never paid attention, but I was watching it for some reason. Oh, because we were trying to pull clips. And so the clips now are like really close-ups of your face. So whenever they do reactions on my face looks like this thing. I'm always like thinking or like but my face to think is like really ugly, like you know, like people are ugly criers.
Yeah,
and I'm like an ugly thinker.
I've never heard of that. Okay,
I'm just new. Like you know, my face, all the close-ups that they had, I'm making gestos, and I'm like, okay, I guess that's me. And like I just make gestos all over, all over the place. But so the last couple of episodes we've been talking about our move to Northwest Arkansas and you know what it's been like to be here, et cetera, and I think you guys get the gist of us being here, no? That we're here trying something new. But I read something that I wanted to kind of ask you about.
Okay.
What you thought about it.
Okay.
So I was reading an article and they were talking about, you're familiar with cancel culture, right?
Yes.
So the article was written from the perspective of somebody who said, in case I ever do get canceled, this is what I want my friends and my family to do. Because she said a lot of times, was
she like somebody in
she's a columnist.
Okay.
What does she call herself? She called herself an opinion maker or something like that because she writes for I guess she's a columnist and she also writes books and I think she goes on shows and I think she teaches also.
Okay.
I don't remember her exact history.
Okay.
But it was her column. What I thought was interesting is that she was talking about, if, somebody like her, who she said, I guess I'm a public figure because I write, but a lot of anybody who writes, anybody who creates content these days can be considered a public figure. But she's like, but am I a public figure that people actually want to come and look for and cancel? Probably not. She's like, there probably would have to be several things that would have to happen for people to cancel, for one to come after me to cancel me. But what I thought was interesting about what she was talking about was, that sometimes people expect, or there's an expectation, I think, sometimes that if people are turning on you on social media, or there's a call to or if somebody's calling you out, say, on social media, I guess there's an expectation that the people that know you should kind of stick up for you or come to your defense in a way.
Okay.
And then part of the article that was what she was also saying was that when people don't do that, then people there's like a sentiment of, oh, okay, I see who my real friends are. I see who my real friends are that are speaking up on my behalf, and that in doing so, you can end up losing actual real friendships because it's just because somebody doesn't come up and say I'm going to speak up on your behalf. Doesn't mean that they're not actually your friends. So you actually could be missing out on a true friendship or losing a true friendship because you're so consumed by this 5-minute thing, or even if it's a year or two thing, the scandal that's consuming your life at the moment, that you're only focusing on who's with you right now, when in reality, maybe those people are just focusing or coming to your aid for different reasons. They could have your own agenda. So then anyway, the gist of the article, at the end of it, she said, what I want my friends and family to do is do nothing. She said, let my reputation die. Let me...
So she's saying to basically let her sink.
That's what she was saying. She's like, let me sink, because I don't want to fall into that, like, I guess,
Who's with me and who's not.
who's with me, who's not,
Yeah,
and like,
that sucks.
and like letting people, like, I guess, like, making that determination that if you're my actual friend, you need to speak up on my behalf.
Yeah.
And she was like, well, you never know, like, once you're in it, if it does ever happen to me, I don't know if I'll still feel the same way, like, when I'm in the moment. She's like, but right now, before it happens, I'm telling you what I want you to do. Don't do anything.
Did nothing. Okay.
Just let my reputation die.
Can I have an unpopular opinion?
Yeah.
Okay. I hear that. I see you're 5 and I raise you 10. You ever? Okay. There's a sound. So I watch a lot of reels. I don't watch TikTok. Watch a lot of reels, and a lot of the reels audio comes over from TikTok. And there's this one that I think it's something along the lines of, open a business and you'll see who your real friends are. You ever hear that?
Yeah, I've heard that.
Okay.
Hear that.
I've heard that. Okay, so that audio bugs the living shit out of me.
Yeah.
One, because just because you open a business doesn't mean everybody wants your product or your service. Doesn't mean everybody needs it. It just means that they can be supporting or they're like, share my stuff, but you can tell when they never even share anything, right? You can't. There's this thing about you wanting. There's support. And then there's support, right? Because if you can't, you want your nets to be there. You don't want your nets to be removed and put somewhere else if you're not in that place.
But
I guess I'm trying to say the same thing.
Like there's a level of expectation, right? That
Yeah.
just because I have a business, you have to buy my products.
Correct.
Or you have to talk about my products.
Correct.
And if you don't talk about my products, then
My products or my service.
yeah.
Yeah. And it's not that I'm not in support of, is maybe they don't have the means, and maybe they're not in the place to support anything or anybody, whether that's sharing your things or not. Maybe they're just going through some stuff and having this high expectations that whoever is going to be your friend or true like supporter is going to share or buy.
But it doesn't even have to be. I don't think sometimes you don't even have to be going through like anything that's like life changing or life altering. It could just be that you're busy in your everyday life. Like you've got a big meeting this week, you've got to travel, you're getting ready for a vacation, like you're out of town, like you happen to be like sick or something, like and or you haven't been online.
Yeah. Here's the thing. I get it. Like, but people. I get why they want the support. I get why they want you, but maybe it's just not for them.
Yeah.
And you have to highly consider that. You have to highly consider that whatever your product is might not be for that friend, might not be for that family. And so don't put these expectations. You started the business. You started the business. And so you are assuming there is something that the public wants. Not your friends, not your family, the public. The public is the one that's going to give you thy money or thy funds to get to the places that you need. Don't expect your friends and family to, unless they see like potential, they're like, you know what? Oh my God, I got the money. Let me invest because I see this. And I think if I want equity in this and I want to tell you what might work, might not work, and I got money to blow, I got money where I take 30, 40% of your equity or whatever it is, right? Then yes, I see that. I can see that. But this high expectation that your family is going to support you in that way, I mean, that's different from like, for me, Juan, is different from like being attacked online for no fucking reason. Right?
Well, I don't know if it's not for any particular reason. I think that sometimes it's that maybe you have an opinion that's unpopular, to what you said before, or people just happen to get a glimpse of something and they don't really get the full picture. So they they jump on one side, or whatever they've seen, they jump on this side and they're like, oh no, you're wrong, without even questioning, like, or without giving you the opportunity to kind of express your thoughts or why you came to the conclusion or whatever it is that you said or did. And you can be like, it's like, I don't like to use the word canceled, but I guess it is like you're being canceled or you're being attacked or you're being, or people coming for you because they're like, oh, look, this person did this or whatever. And like, I mean, you make a 5-minute video, 15-minute video on TikTok. There's not a lot of context in that. So you could say something and then all of a sudden people are like, oh my God, you're bullying or you're doing this or you're doing that. And next thing you know, you're like, everybody's coming after you, finding all of your accounts and trying to hound you down, trying to figure out where you live and all of that. You know?
No, it is true. That is right. I mean, now that I think about it, yeah, if my ship is going down, I don't want to take people down with me.
I thought that makes sense because I'm like, I don't want people to like.
Yeah, don't throw your anchors over or with me. Like, you stay still, you stay put.
You know,
because when I
resurface,
I want you to be there.
You know what I would value like more? What I think would make more, like what I would appreciate more, is people that reached out to me privately and were like, hey, you know what? How's it going? Even if they weren't able to speak publicly, you know, they weren't able to like say like, oh, I'm going to talk on you. I know, like, you know, say I'm being accused of doing something horrible. Like, say, like, you know, people think I did something horrible and then like everybody's accusing me on social media. But people that actually know me, if they were to reach out to me like in a text message, or they were to give me a call and say, hey, how's it going? I know you're going through a tough time right now. You know, I just wanted you to let you know that I'm thinking about you or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, I think that would mean a lot more than them going to fight for me on social media. Because I think by them going to fight on social media for me, or me going to respond, like it sometimes only makes it bigger.
Yeah.
So it only like extends the life of that thing that's happening. Because the reality is like we have such a short attention span that I feel like, you know, it's a scandal right now. Maybe it takes a day, maybe it takes a month, maybe it takes a couple years, but eventually people are gonna like move on and forget about it. To some degree.
I don't think they'll forget about it.
To some degree.
They'll move on to something else. Here's the thing. Unfortunately, we live in a world where no matter how bad you act, no matter like what horrible shit you says, somewhere down the very near future, somebody's going to say even something worse. Yeah. And so people are going to move on to that next thing.
Or how many times do people not go back?
But doesn't omit that you said some shitty shit, you know?
But how many times do people not go back like 10 years and they're like, oh, look, this person said so-and-so on a tweet like 10 years ago. And it's like, and then they get in trouble and then like, you know, this right now in the present because of whatever they said. Okay, so do you remember
there was a girl who's basically canceled. She was oh my God, she was a YouTuber, and she used to do blackface, and she used to do like some pretty racist skits, and there was innuendos, and there was just things that just weren't like, it was like some bad shit. I mean, but that was back in the day when fucking YouTube was the Wild West and shit. And calling people out was like, oh, you're ruining the fun. Like, oh, you're no fun, right? Oh, and you know, they were still getting brands and sponsorships, and people were like, the fuck, like how why would you send your money in that direction if they obviously don't care, you know what I mean? Anyway, there was this one YouTuber who after so much came out, I don't know how she got involved or how she got mixed up in the thing, because she stopped doing it. They were like, she was like, you know what? I have to step away. I'm going to step away from this. I'm going to step away from YouTube. My YouTube is going to be left alone. I'm no longer going to be in the public eye because there's obviously a lot that I have to go through and think about. Why did I do that? Why was it okay? And why was I being egged on by friends and fans that this was okay? That people were just kind of, that I was offending just a few and that it was okay. The jokes were okay.
But did she stay off or did she come back?
No, she's been off for a couple of years now.
Oh, okay.
She stayed away.
But the thing is, at that point,
I mean, mind you, she's made millions at this point.
That's what I was gonna say. At that point, you've already established yourself. She probably had like side businesses. She probably had, if she was smart, she probably diversified her money. So she was like, okay, I don't really need to be on YouTube anymore. Like I can get away. I can stay off of YouTube. At that point, it's like you already made
probably some angel investor in some other businesses and doing some like amazing shit. And she's probably owned.
She could be producing other YouTube channels and still and just not be on there herself.
Yeah, maybe. You know, maybe.
Like there's a lot of the thing is there's a lot of ways around. There's a lot of ways around things, and I think that
I hope she's doing good. I hope she's actually producing other stuff, videos, and I'm hoping she's producing videos for the minority, the ones that she was attacking, the ones that she didn't give, you know, the ones that she wasn't like, oh shit, like my fucking bad. Like let me learn from that one mistake. Let me not keep making these multiple mistakes. Let me read some fucking books. Let me pay attention to some people on here who are really talking about that. I hope she's producing some of those videos from some of the minorities that she kind of made fun of and she made millions of dollars on. I hope so.
Well, let's hope so. But I mean, the other thing is the reality is 10, 15 years ago was a different time. So I think to take something that, you know, happened 10, 15, there's certain things that, yeah, like if you say something like racist, if you say if you like did blackface and stuff like that, that's undeniable. It doesn't matter. Like people, we knew that it was bad like 10, 15 years ago. But there's other things that are kind of more in a gray area that are like, you know, 10, 15 years ago were acceptable and now it's not acceptable. And so I think those like then it kind of gets into, for me at least, I start thinking about like, well, you know, what like, I mean, what's the context of the entire thing? Because if we're just, you know, if we're getting offended by this thing that would happen like 15, 20 years ago, but you know, now the times have changed and people change also. So I was like, I don't know, like when, you know, sometimes it becomes a little much, I think.
I think a few years ago, I had to stop myself because I was noticing that I was dead set on my opinions. And I was like, this is going to be difficult later if I don't put a stop to it. If I don't stop myself from thinking this way, because this is just the way I've always thought and nothing matters. Like I stopped myself from like evolving, basically. And it's a scary world when you have to stop talking and you have to listen. But here's the catch, okay? Look, when it's time for you to fucking speak up, you better fucking speak up. When it's time for you to say things that you know true to be, and when it sits wrong with you, it sits wrong with you. Not, oh my God, why are you so offended? No. When you're the one that's being either offended or you're the one that is in the know of what things and how things feel and look like, because you're the one living it.
And I think sometimes like now it's like more uncomfortable to do that, because like that reminds me, like, you know, the other day that, like, you know, I felt like, you know, I wasn't being like we were at an event, and I felt like I was standing there, and then other people were coming by, and I happened to I felt in my mind, I was like, okay, is it because I'm Mexican that I'm just standing here and like I've been standing here for like a minute, and these people that all happen to be white were like talking to all the white people that were coming through after me. And like I started to feel like I was invisible. I was like, wait a minute, like I'm like standing right here, like, and I'm like waiting because I like these fucking vitamins and I want like to take a sample home with me.
Okay, I see what you're talking about.
And I was like, I just wanted to like get a bottle of vitamins. I was like, I wasn't trying to like have a drawn out conversation, but I started to feel like I'm being ignored, like I'm being like
looked over.
Like I feel like I'm transparent in the moment.
Yeah, it sucks.
And then you were
sucks
like
to feel like that.
And you were like, tell them you should say, like, if you really want them, you should say something. And I was like, no, I don't want to make a big deal. And I was like, I don't want to make the big deal. Let's go. And I was like, I don't really want the vitamins. Like I was like, in my mind, I was like, okay, I can buy my own vitamins. Like
that's not the point.
I have those vitamins at home. I already bought them and this and that.
Point.
But then after like we left, I was like, I was like, man, I probably should have said something, because
you'd stepped up. You should have been.
Because
been loud.
I was like, because it wouldn't because it wasn't only just for me, but I think it was like also to say like, hey, you know, you can't do this to people. You know what I mean? But
you have to speak up. You can't wait for people to approach you.
I know, but for me, like I was like, what would I have said anyway? Like, what would I say? Excuse me, like I'm here.
It doesn't.
Excuse me, like I was here first, or like I mean, I don't know how to. Like I would want to speak up, but I don't want to speak up in a way that's like, you know, already like super confrontational from the beginning.
No, stop it. It doesn't fucking matter. You feel the way you feel based on the circumstance, the situation.
I know,
and
but
that's how you feel.
No, I know, I understand that. But what I'm saying is like I didn't know in the moment like what I would have said. Like
yeah, we never know in the moment, but unless we train ourselves to understand what we're going through, when the moment hits again, we're gonna use another reason an excuse to not have said what we truly wanted to say. It's simple. Hey, I like that juice that you got right there. Can I taste it? By the way, I like these vitamins and I wanted to taste it in this. Is there a possibility that I can have a sample? But like it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
But see that you say it like that, but for me in the moment, because I was already getting angry, I was like, I'm gonna say something.
Why would you walk away with your frustration though? That's so boggling to me.
But my thing was like, I'm already getting angry, so like I know if I say something, I'm probably gonna say something ugly, like hello, like, or like I'm right here, like I was in line first, or like I don't know, I would have said something stupid, like I would have said like I feel like I would have said something stupid.
No, that's not stupid. That's not stupid. Like, to call it out and be like, I was standing here the entire time and I felt like you weren't trying to approach me.
Yeah, but see, like that sounds like you expressed yourself correctly, like you thought, like, you know what I mean, instead of like getting like throwing a berrinche, and I feel like I would have thrown a berrinche.
For those who don't, berrinche is a tantrum.
Like I would have been pissed off, like, you know, to the point where I wouldn't have been able to say something like that made logical sense. That I would have just, it would have just come out more like, you know, like people would have been like, okay, like what
You
the hell's
have
wrong
to
with this
speak
person?
up.
Like
You
really,
have
like you
to
think
speak
you
up.
think it's racism right here?
I don't know if it was racism or not, but they obviously looked you over, and it's easy for you to be like, look, I've been standing here because I want to try a sample, and I feel like I've been looked over. So
But see,
how
that
can we
sounds
rectify
good.
this?
Like, see, that sounds good. And to me, in the moment, I don't know if it's I don't have the ability to think about those
Okay,
words to
well,
come out of my mouth so quickly.
think of it like this, because
Like, what do they call it when you're quick with your
with words.
thoughts? Like you're quick with your thoughts, but me, I have to write my thoughts out.
So
and,
I think of
about
it-
what I'm gonna say.
Sometimes I think of it like this. For example, I have my mom who can't express herself fast enough and quick enough because she doesn't know the language.
Right.
And sometimes I think of like, how would I approach if somebody was treating my mom like that? Mm-hmm. I definitely wouldn't like. I wouldn't know. How the word is like. Not. I wouldn't be too aggressive because my mom is there and I don't want to make her feel uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. But I would still address it because you did make her feel uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. So something needs to be worked out.
Yeah.
She obviously felt uncomfortable. I need to express that she feels uncomfortable because the uncomfortability was brought on by you. Mm-hmm. So we need to figure this out. You're obviously in a public place. I didn't walk into somebody's private home. We are all here. I'm here just like everybody else is. And I would like to be treated like everybody else. The same way you found it very comfortable to walk up to so-and-so right in front of you, I would have appreciated the same hospitality.
No, and I'm working on that. I'm working on like getting there, but like my reaction.
But if your mom was there, would you have said something?
My reaction is more to be like, "Hey."
No, think about it. If your mom was there, what would you have
I'm
done?
right here. What the hell's wrong with you?
If your mom was there, what would you have done?
But see, I would have still done that. Like that's the thing.
You would have. If your mom would have been like, "I want to try it," you would have been like, "No, mom, let's just go."
No, I think with more reason I
No.
would have got mad.
Oh no!
Like, I feel like I would have got more mad because I would have been like, okay, like that's not cool. But I don't know. Like I think like I'm working on like trying to get better at that because I think like in the moment, like in situations like that, like I get awkward, I guess, and I just like I get uncomfortable, and I'm like, okay, you know what?
Are you mad that you felt that they like put you in an uncomfortable situation and that it's embarrassing for not only them but you also?
No, I'm mad. I'm more mad at myself that I didn't say anything.
Okay.
I'm more mad that I didn't make it known to them that what they were doing was not cool. Mm-hmm. And that's what I was pissed off. That's what made me more upset later.
You know what?
That I was like, you know what? I should have said something because it wasn't okay. It wasn't okay. But I didn't say, like, me being able to say something. I didn't. I was just kind of like, oh, okay, whatever. Let's shrug it off.
So, I don't like being made feel uncomfortable. Because if you're going to make me feel uncomfortable, guess what I'm going to do?
Yeah. But that's your personality.
No, but guess what I'm going to do?
You're going to make the other person feel uncomfortable.
You're fucking right.
Well, that's
You're goddamn right. If you make me feel uncomfortable because you just wanted to, we're gonna play the game. You know what, Juan? Let me tell you a story. Let me tell you what happened. Okay. So
is this the story I think it is?
No.
Okay.
What? No, because I haven't even told you the story.
Because it made me think of that guy that you were chasing around the museum.
Oh shit! I guess I got two stories. So here's one. So I started back on therapy.
Uh-huh.
And we're here in Northwest Arkansas, and someone looking for a therapist in person here. Okay. So I started looking around. Well, let me tell you first. Back in the pandemic, I did seek a therapist out, and I was like, you know what? Let me try a man. And so I tried a man. Oh, I seeked out a therapist, and he happened to be a male. And during our second session, he told me, and I quote, "I used to be married to a Mexican." And I was like, the fuck? I was like, your life story or my life? I'm paying you to hear what you did in your what the fuck is going on? So I was like, okay, that's not gonna work. This is not gonna. I don't know how you're trying to how to say that we're the same but not. So I was like, okay, we're done. I was like, done. I ghosted his ass. Okay, now I'm here in Northwest Arkansas, and I've started to seek out therapists. And usually I could actively go through 4 or 5, maybe. If I get lucky, the first one works, right? But I try out several.
Okay.
Okay. So I went to my first session. a couple of days ago, and I kind of told that she was like, have you ever been in therapy? And I was like, as a matter of fact, I have over 10 years, and blah, 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 blah. And this is where my therapy started, and this is what happened, and this is and this is how I've unpacked, and this is what I've expected from my therapist this point. And I've done cognitive behavioral therapy, and I went down through my entire list. Because she asked me, she was like, well, what do you expect? I said, well, I expect this, so-and-so, and blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. And so she sat back. Let me give you the whole narrative here, Juan. She sat back in her chair and she was like, you know what? I'm listening to what your needs are. No, she didn't even fucking say that. She goes, I'm listening to you, and maybe quick, because I asked her, I said, well, how much experience do you have? I believe she said July 29th, July last year.
Oh, okay. 2021?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
But she's been doing some therapy since 2019.
Okay.
Okay, right? Keep that in mind, okay? She hasn't had many patients. I probably have had more therapists than she's had patients. Okay. And then she goes, and I quote this motherfucker. I like her, okay? I'm going to put this out there. I like you. I don't think she'll watch this, but I like her. She's a really nice person. Okay, but she sits back, and I got to know if she's testing me. But I'm like on a different like time in my life. I approach shit very fucking differently. I don't hold back because I don't want to make you uncomfortable, so please don't make me uncomfortable. And maybe the way you say things should have been approached differently. And don't call me fucking sensitive, because I know when I'm sensitive and when I'm not, and I'll call my shit out, and I'll pause it, take a break, and be like, am I being sensitive, or am I being like, whatever. In terms of like relationships, in terms of like talking to people. What?
No, you're like explaining. I'm like, wait,
over explaining. Okay, like, what did she say? Hold on. Okay, so then she goes, we have another therapist here. She might be better for you. Because she approaches things more sensitively. I said, okay. I said, shots fired, fucker. All right. I sat back too, and I said, looked at her, and I said, okay. Question. Do I look like I need a sensitive person?
What'd she say?
She was like, no, that's not what I meant. I was like, okay, well, please explain, because I've told you that what I needed and wanted was somebody who was going to hold me accountable, but somebody who wasn't going to be mean, somebody who wasn't going to be aggressive. So I never said I needed somebody sensitive. No, she ran in circles, of course. She was like, no, that's not what I said. She's like, no, so what I'm saying is that, I think this program is really, it's going to work out for you. I think we have a lot of therapists here. What I'm saying is, and she kept trying to go down the road. I was like, look, ma'am therapist. I called her by her name. I was like, look, here's what we'll do. I was like, we'll go in 3-4 sessions, and if it's not working out, I'll move on.
So you're gonna see her again?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No, but the fact of the matter was that, like, okay, you know what she said is gonna bother me. I'm gonna go home and think to myself, do I need somebody? What did you see in me that you heard me say I need somebody sensitive when I told you I need somebody who's not aggressive? And I also, in addition, said I need somebody who's gonna hold me accountable to my shit.
But what made you want to see her still then? If you already were having like a bad energy from her or bad vibe from her?
No, there was no bad vibe.
But it sounds like there was a bad vibe.
No, there was no bad vibe. We were in a setting that she was taking it very professional, and I was trying to tell her that what I needed wasn't somebody that I'm not going to be pushed around, that I know when to stop and when to start and when to go. I know that. I've been at therapy for quite some time. I don't need somebody to do that. I don't need somebody to bully me into shit. I don't need somebody to be aggressive with me. But I need them to hold me accountable. If we can please find a nice medium. And her suggestion and her response was, I don't want to bother with that. That's what I heard.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. If she said...
So hold on, let me tell you.
If she told you, like, that she didn't want to bother...
So One of my first therapists was at the Baylor College of Medicine at their psychology clinic. I can't remember. Anyways, but she was a clinician. She was doing her externship there, and she was there for 2-3 years, and she was really young. I was one of her few patients, and early on in her career, and this was over 10 years ago. And so, she gave me the same vibe. She gave me the same I felt like at one point, like during our first sessions, and I never had done therapy, and I thought I was just losing my shit. I just wanted to get over that hump of like let's see, we vibe. Like your vibe, like you're checking me. You know what I mean?
I'm getting like you like the tough love.
I said
that's what I'm getting. Like you're getting you like the tough love from your therapist.
I like people to hold me accountable to my shit.
Want them to be toscas.
I don't want them. I don't need them to stroke my egos. I don't need that. I need somebody to hold me accountable.
But I thought what you were gonna say at the beginning was that she told you to go to another therapist, and you were gonna find another therapist, and then I was like, okay, well, in that case, in my mind, I would have been like, okay, well, I would appreciate her honesty as opposed to her wasting my time, to be like, oh, okay, we're going to go 3 or 4. But I think now that you guys have spoken about it and you both have an understanding and kind of laid your cards on the table,
so you're right.
It's different than her just oh, okay, let me just see what this person says, and
I don't want to write her off just from one interaction. That's what I'm saying. And I don't want her to for us to keep checking each other to see where we vibe or where we land. I don't have the time for that, and I'm just letting her, and I hope she understands that I don't. I'm here to make progress. I'm here to actually take this in. If I need talk therapy, I'll go look for somebody who's talk therapy, and guess what? I'll probably get somebody who's older, because I know that they can probably help me more than the young girls, not girls. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I mean, I do understand that they have experience, but sometimes, and then forgive me for people who are in professionals, who are in professions, but sometimes some doctors think they know better than you, think they know you better than you know yourself. And some young doctors come off like that. And that's in every space. Dentists, physicians, you call it, you name it. Sometimes you're like, fuck, sir, I've been having this disease longer than you fucking been alive. Can we restart? Can we redo this? Can we not go down these aisles? And that, to me, and so going back to the conversation, was just that I would have come back to the house frustrated and mad had I not said something. Had I not come back and been like, why would she say that to me? And second guessing myself.
Well, what I'm pulling from that is that you're saying kind of what we were kind of talking about is to not write off that person, and for her not to write you off.
Correct.
Because
yes.
I feel like even if we're talking about cancel culture, it's also about not writing people off entirely. I think based on one interaction, one exchange.
Sometimes we think that somebody who we think is an authority knows better than we do.
And even if it's not cancel,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, and even if it's not cancel culture, sometimes it's sometimes you meet somebody, you're introduced to somebody, and you think off the top of your head, just by your first impression, you're like me and this person are not gonna gel. Me and this, this
we're not compatible.
Or you make assumptions of oh, okay, this looks like they're really conservative, or looks like they're really liberal, and you start making assumptions in your head, oh, okay, they're the opposite of me. If I'm this, then they're that. If I'm that, then they're that. And so
I made sure I asked the questions, even like that. I was like, look, these are my viewpoints, and this is the way I think, and the person that I want to be in the same room with, I prefer that they don't have a problem with those things. And she was like, oh yeah, no, yeah, I think we agree. And I was like, okay, good.
But that's the thing. I think it's level setting, and setting the expectation is cool. But I like what you said about not writing people off, because I feel like you can it takes. For some people, it takes people like me. It's gonna take you a few times to get to know me, actually, because you might meet me the first time and be like, oh, okay, like there's I don't know, that guy's dry, or this guy like he probably is this, he's probably that, he's probably super like I don't know what people make assumptions about me. Tell me what you think what assumptions you guys make of me when if you met me for the first time, like, and I'm sure you can tell me, you can be honest and tell me, like, but I don't know what people actually say about me. But I know that I don't warm up to people immediately. Like, I'm not the type of person that, like, on the first time that we meet and are introduced, that I'm gonna be like, you know, making jokes and like laughing. You know, I have to get a little bit more comfortable around you first, and that's just me. That's just who I am. But I think there's a lot of people out there like me, and then other people that maybe are really extroverted, and then but in reality that's not their personality. Like, that's not who they fully are. So so people will assume like, oh man, they're just a ball of energy, but they don't know that maybe they're like underneath that they're like, you know, maybe they are like more introverted, maybe they're more like, you know, they're more thoughtful, they're more whatever, and or they might have like a lot of the same characteristics, but if you never get a chance to know them, then you never know. And I think, like, you know, bringing like now it's making me think about, like, even in like networking situations, like sometimes you building the relationships is a kind of a long term thing, you know, where. Well,
here's the thing. This is very personal to me, and this is very just me, just I've been under a rock. I had been under a rock for like 10 years. And so as a very extroverted person, being like, you know, isolated and, you know, felt like I was like in my own prison. I don't know. Maybe I feel like I don't want to feel like I'm playing catch up. Wait. I don't want to feel like I'm playing catch up. So I don't want, and then I don't want to come off aggressive either, but I want to be sincere. And I want my relationships to also be sincere.
Yeah. And I think for me, like, I've always gotten along with people that other people thought were difficult, or like people thought were like hard to be around, or like they didn't bother me. And I think now I'm like, maybe was that because people think I'm like that, and so maybe I just tend to gravitate to those people. I tend to sympathize with them, and I'm like,
you know, I thought I lived in my head, but I think you live more in yours than I do in mine. Yeah, okay. I'm like listening to you right now, Juan, and I'm like, holy shit.
What did I say that made you say holy shit?
No, because
you gotta tell me.
No, I know.
Go on like living in my own head.
No. Where else would you live? No, I mean, like, I feel like you're overthinking.
Oh, like overanalyze things?
You overanalyze and you're overthinking.
Yeah, because
like, even bothers you.
Well, that's what I'm saying, because I'm like that's what we were talking about earlier today. Like, and I was saying, like, I've always been the type of person that's very observant, and because I'm like that, like, I just don't open up that easily, because I'm always like.
What's your apprehension though? What's your like? I
don't know. I just don't like. I don't know if it's like a thing that I don't want to be like at a disadvantage. Like, I don't want to be at a disadvantage, or like I don't want to like. I don't know. Really don't know what it is.
Does it really matter if you're at a disadvantage?
I don't know. I guess it doesn't. But in my mind, like, I guess it's always been like you know, like a tick for tack, or like, you know, it's either you or me or you or whatever. I don't know. I guess I have to go to therapy and process that.
Probably. I might give you the names of a few therapists myself.
No, but I don't know what it is about. I just know that, like, I don't open up. I think I'm getting better at it. But I don't open up to people immediately. So, but at the same time, like, I also sympathize with people that sometimes people think are like difficult. I'm like, oh, okay, like, you know, yeah, they're moody, or yeah, they're this, but, you know, as long as they're not insulting me or bending me or doing something really bad, then I'm not gonna like hold it against you that you're moody.
You know, it's reminded me like of the differences of how we consume the world. Me and you particularly. Like, before and I think I've mentioned this on here, like that one time that I insisted on you, like, you got mad at me for being like too aggressive, and I was like, the problem isn't me. I was like, the problem isn't me. You're bothered by my reaction to somebody else, but I have to live with my reaction. I don't need you. It wasn't, and it was nothing that I did offensive.
Ooh,
But you
me.
found it offensive.
I guess because you're not as measured as I am in my like interactions, and I think at the beginning that was, and maybe that was like harder for me to assimilate to like you to realizing that like you were so like you're so easy to like just like oh da, 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 da. And sometimes I tell you like Angelica, don't say this. We're gonna go see this person. Don't mention this. Don't talk about this today because I don't want to bring it up, or I don't want to like have to address it. And then you're like, oh, okay. But I think, and me, like, on the other hand, like, I think I just, like, I don't, like, because of that, I'm like, I'll wait. I'll wait to have that conversation about whatever it is that I really want to talk about. First, I'll listen and I'll kind of hear I'll look for little, like, nuggets here and there to give me an idea of what your perspective is, what your thoughts are. And sometimes, like, I don't remember shit. Okay, so I don't really remember a lot. Like,
It's a good thing I had that on
literally,
camera.
like, no, literally, like, this weekend we were driving and you were like, oh, you've been to this park with Edgar. And I was like, no, I haven't. I was like, I don't remember being here. And then, like, it wasn't until we pulled into the park and I saw the waterfall. Then I was like, oh, yeah, we were here. So I don't remember shit. So if you tell me shit, nine times out of 10, I don't even remember what you said.
It's not true.
No, I mean, like,
Specifics.
I'm trying to say, if you're trying to give me, like, secrets and stuff, like, 9 times out of 10, you can confide because I won't remember what you said.
If you said it was a secret, I'll forget it immediately.
No, but I don't always remember everything, but I do pick up on things. I do hear things. Like, sometimes somebody will say something and I'm like, oh. And then I'll tell you later, like, did you hear when so-and-so said this? Or did you hear when da-da-da-da? Did you pick up on this? And da-da-da-da? And you're like, no, I didn't hear that. I didn't hear anybody say that. And I'm like, no, like, they said that. I think that da-da-da-da. And they're like, oh, not anything bad, but I just, like, automatically, like, we'll start connecting dots. Like, I think
unnecessarily.
I think that's my thing. Like, I like to connect dots behind. So, like, I listen so that I can connect dots. Oh, okay. So that happened. Oh, okay. Oh, that makes sense now. Oh, you know what? So this is what happened, Angelica. You're like,
What the fuck is going on?
You're like, what? You're like, Juan, what?
A lot of the conversations are like, yeah, did you hear this? No. Did you? Well, they said this right after this happened. And then what happened? And then this happened. So 2 weeks ago, so-and-so said this. And now it makes sense. And I'm like,
But
no,
you know
it
what?
doesn't. I don't know what you're talking about. They didn't tell you
But
anything.
that works
and
to
you're
my
assuming.
advantage. That works to my advantage so many times because I can
You
connect.
sound so sneaky right now.
No, man, like, okay, like, I don't mean it in a bad way, but like I'm thinking like in my mind, I think in my mind, like this wall is like a big detective thing that just has like strings that go in here everywhere. And I'm like, okay, look, there's an opportunity right there. Okay, you know what? This person and that person. And so my mind is always like, so you get a glimpse of what my mind is. It's just like connecting dots and like trying to like always. So then I don't remember shit because I'm like.
That makes sense. That does make sense. Not in the literal sense, in like the way you work, like with hands, but in the psychological sense, you're very mechanical.
Yeah, and so like so like in my mind, like I'm always doing that. I'm always like trying to figure shit out. But I guess in doing that, like I forget the insignificant things that don't serve me. That I'm like, oh, okay, that puzzle piece doesn't fit. Okay, you can throw that out.
And it's like, no, what the fuck are you doing? That's the on switch button. You can throw it out. The fuck are you doing? No, it is like that a lot of the times. A lot of times it is like that. You're like, no, serves no purpose. I was like, what the fuck? Hold on. No, but I see what you're saying.
Oh man, I feel like I got to something.
Are you like, you're like unpacking here?
This is like a cathartic experience. No, but I honestly do feel like I was like, oh, okay, I've never thought about it but that's true. The detective wall in the back, that's my mind.
My God. So a couple of months ago, before we first got here, I started a couple of years ago. I wanted to start telling my story in the complete sense to friends and people that I trusted. And I remember being in therapy and saying this, that I wanted to do that. They're like, well, what's holding you back? And I'm like, well, I don't even know where to start. Like, do you just start? And I'm happy I didn't start then, because the people who I would have wanted told my experiences to, and the things that I had, like, just my life in general, I think I would have told the wrong people. I think some of the people then, we don't talk now.
Oh.
Shit, I know, right? I was like, oh, that's a good thing I didn't say shit. But I found myself telling my story. And I had to write down some questions that I still go back and I look on them, and I go back and I read them down. Questions that I ask myself. And so this is me. And if you're ever there in a position where you want to open yourself up to family or friends and be vulnerable, questions to ask yourself are, why does it matter that you're asking them? Will it matter later? Was it because I needed to tell them? Their opinion of me, if it changes, does it matter? And if it does matter, why does it matter? But because it's a person and they have an opinion about me, or is it because it's them that have an opinion about me? And I revisit these questions, and I go back and I read them over to myself. And I answer, I kind of scan them. I don't answer them yet. I'm a little scared to, because I don't want to I don't want to write anybody off and be like, you know what, I told you some secrets and I never want to see you ever again.
So these are questions that you're asking yourself about being able to tell somebody a secret?
Not necessarily a secret, but opening myself up to my truth.
Okay.
Yeah.
So before you open yourself up to that, whoever that person is, you're asking yourself these questions?
After I opened up myself to them.
Oh.
I asked myself these questions.
Okay. Why after?
Because it gives myself intel on me. Am I avoiding them? Why am I avoiding them?
Oh.
Did they really matter? Do they really matter? Do I see myself? Did they judge me? Or do I fear they judged me? And what is my reaction to that judgment?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I don't know. I bring this up because I thought it was good for anybody who's out there, and we were talking about,
It's interesting. I mean, I think it's
unconscious biasness.
Because I think we all have a tendency to not criticize ourselves, but it makes sense that you would say I tell somebody a secret and then I don't want them to bring it up again, or I'm not ready to talk about it again, so I'm gonna avoid them. So I'm not gonna talk to them, or I'm gonna make an effort. If we do see each other, it's gonna be in a group environment, so that we don't have to have
not awkward.
So we don't have to have that one-on-one conversation, and we don't have to we don't have an opportunity, or if we happen to see each other one-on-one, I'll try to keep the conversation very surface. Oh, hey, how's it going? Oh, da 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 da, really become a chatty Cathy and not let them even get a word and just be like, oh, you know what, I really like that shirt. Oh, did you hear I went to this concert and da da da? Oh yeah, you know what, we were over there da da da. Oh, you know what, I gotta go. It was good seeing you.
Yeah. Hasta nunca. Ahí nos vemos. Bye. See you in a couple of months.
But it is it is. Those are interesting questions because they're pretty deep.
We were talking about these things, unpacking things and that unconscious biasness that we have even upon ourselves.
No, and that's true.
Yeah.
No, and I think those are good questions because I was oh, okay, those are deep.
Yeah.
It makes me think oh, okay, because I think when you ask yourself those type of questions, it's hard to be honest with yourself sometimes too. Because sometimes you can you can do the same thing to yourself, where you distract yourself, so where to the point where you don't you're not really truly being honest with yourself. You're just no. I'm not gonna think about it too hard.
I'm really lost right now. I was I was gonna come full circle with it, but I was wait, where did I miss the mark?
Oh.
But I was gonna come full circle and I completely lost it. But yeah, I think in down the rabbit hole of that. Yeah, that's part of it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So anyway, that's where I'm at. I'm still thinking about the way you approach things and the way you kind of.
Well, you know what that reminded me of though, and I think
what was that other story that I was gonna say?
Oh, you were gonna say about the guy you were chasing around in the museum, which I think
was chasing me.
Yeah. We think we talked about it
Yeah,
before.
we did. That still bothered me. Anyway, go ahead.
No, but I was gonna say, you know what that reminded me of when you
Okay.
said that about the conversations that you've been having, this and that. It reminded me of something that I meant to say at the beginning of the podcast and I didn't say.
What?
What did we get?
What did you get?
No, we got awards. We got awards. We got awards.
We got awards
Yeah, we got 2 awards. Yeah.
too.
But
All late.
But going back to the thing of what we kind of what you were saying is like
Well, hold on. What kind of awards did we get?
Well, wait. We'll
Okay,
get there.
my bad,
We'll
my
get
bad,
there.
my
But
bad.
like
Yes,
going
yes.
back to what you were saying about like the I guess unconscious bias of ourselves is that sometimes like you don't want to like toot your own horn, and I mean you specifically.
Me? No,
Like,
I don't.
You
like that.
you were very like you don't like tooting your own horn. You
No,
don't
it
like
makes me
talking about
uncomfortable.
it. You're like, and I'm like, Angelica, if you have to like, if you want people to know, you gotta say it. You gotta tell people. You can't just be like, oh, people are gonna find out and they're gonna tell me.
And it's not even like it's not. I'm not, and I don't mean not to do it because I'm quirky and weird. Because I have a physical reaction to it. Like I have an actual physical reaction. I'm not being quirky and I'm not being weird. I'm not being like, no, not me. No. I'm
Oh,
so
is that-
uncomfortable. Like it makes me have a physical reaction to these things. To be like, oh, guess what happened? Guess what I got? Guess it.
But
Like,
I say that, but I do it, and I don't think like I don't feel like when I do it, I'm like, oh look, guess what happened, or guess look
yeah,
at this,
I know,
like,
I
look
know.
at me now.
And when other people do it,
I
I'm
do
like,
it. I just do it
that's so
because I'm
fucking cool.
like, I just do it because I'm like, oh, you know, like in my like okay, so the award that we got, like I got, it was from Public Relations Society of America, the Houston chapter, so PRSA Houston, and they gave me the award for Public Relations Professional of the Year. Clapping. And Angelica, you received the award for Best Podcast of the Year for your Latina Leadership Series on
Yeah.
the If Not You Then Who podcast.
Yes.
So, there you go. Snap, right?
Snap. He's not even snapping.
I know. No, but like,
Yeah, I'm uncomfortable.
why?
I don't know. So yeah, it was nice to be recognized. It was nice to see that happen. It's nice. It's nice to be nice.
Yeah.
I just I don't know. I'm thinking because I feel honestly, Juan, in life I feel like I haven't done enough, and I don't need to be recognized for any of it.
See, that's a really negative attitude.
No, fuck yeah, it is, and that's a very personal issue.
But see, for me, like the way I thought about it was like, okay, like because I wasn't really gonna say a lot about it, but then I was like, wait, like you know, this is a big like award that they give to one person out of the entire like city for the entire year, and like it's kind of a disservice to them that I don't even acknowledge it. You know, that I don't even acknowledge this award and recognize and thank them for it publicly because I wasn't able to be there physically to receive it myself.
Oh yeah.
You know, I'm like, I'm not even gonna acknowledge it like online and like at least like, you know, like mention them and tell them thank you and this and that. Like I was like, I feel like it was a disservice if I didn't say anything. So I was like, okay, no, I need to go and like share it and tell people and this and that. And everybody had like really positive things to say. Like all my friends and people that I know online, like they were like congratulating me and telling me all these nice things and whatever. And I was like, that, you know, it's nice. But on top of that, it's also helping that award get more visibility so that hopefully next year somebody else gets it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so to me, I was like, okay, like it's not about just me, you know?
Yeah.
So I think maybe think about it that way.
Yeah, I think I will mention it. I think I'm very happy that it's there. I'm very happy that I received it, and I'm very, like I said, happy for to be recognized. So what I was going to end up saying was that that I feel like I could have done more. I feel like I could have done more with the series. But when I look back on it, there's already been so much done.
Yeah.
There's been so many really amazing conversations, and you're right to not mention it, not for my behalf, not on my behalf, to not mention it kind of starts to invalidate some of the women that I had on. Right? It starts to make them minimal, like smaller, you know, because they're the reason why it got an award. They're the reason why it was recognized, because they had amazing things to say and they had an amazing conversation. And I'm just really fucking happy that I was able to facilitate a lot of those conversations, produce a lot of those conversations, be on here. Some of those first conversations on Latina Leadership Series were completely edited by me. You know, it was one woman show for quite some time until, got very lucky and we got an editor.
And that's the thing, like, but the other thing to think about is, like, I don't know this to be true, but I'm pretty almost 100% sure that this is true, that you're probably the first Latina to receive this award. And think about all those Latina podcasters that are out there doing their thing, grinding, getting their, like, wheels going and, like, whether they've started, whether they've been at it. This is another platform that they can get gain more visibility. And, like, they can be, like, say, hey, you know what, I want to be counted for that also.
Yeah.
Like, I want to be considered for that award in the future. And, like, that also is, like, a big deal, like, to be able to tell people, to be able to show people, like, hey, look, this is another place where you can get some recognition, because, it's not just about being given an award, but it's about the validity that comes with that.
Yeah.
Or, like, I don't know if validity is the right word, but, like,
no, I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, it's like, where people think, like, the credibility.
Yes.
That comes with, like, that you say, okay, yeah, I received an award from this organization that's well established. It's been around for a long time. It's the 37th annual award that they were giving.
Yeah.
And I was the person that they selected to receive this award.
There. Yeah, even though we weren't there, it was recognized among people.
Right. And I am the first Latina to receive this award. So why not, like, share it so that other people can also, like, decide that they that they want to also put in their name, throw their name in the hat and be like, hey, you know what, I want to be considered for that also.
Correct.
Because it may open doors for them down the line as well.
Yeah, so I think, it's nice to the Latina Leadership Series. It's an award-winning series now at this point.
Yeah, there you go. And you laugh.
Yeah, because it's.
But you got to use that. That's we're in the PR business, right?
We are. You know what we are? We're really fucking good at getting visibility in PR service and marketing service to other things and other people, and then we have a hard time doing it for ourselves.
Yeah. So, anyways, I just wanted to share that because I think it is worth sharing, and I want to thank PRSA Houston for giving us those recognitions, and the entire board and the membership there who voted for us. I know that they send the categories off to different chapters, and then those chapters in different cities vote for us. So whoever that chapter was that voted for us,
cool.
We definitely appreciate it. And then to our team at Marcus Tree Consultants and Jeff, who's a part of our team, who was able to go there and receive both the awards.
Yeah, he was there in person.
And he did,
cool.
he sent us a really cool video, like, where we actually had, like, we're able to post it online because he had both of the trophies in his hands. So I'm like, how cool is that you're not even there, but you have,
we have a friend.
You have a friend, people who can go for you.
People who got our backs.
And who got your back and will show up and, like, give you content to put out and be like, here you go.
Cool.
That was really nice. So I appreciate that. And, so I just wanted to share that.
Yeah.
But with that, I do want to, like, do you want to talk about something else? Or?
No.
I think we've been talking for a while.
No, we have. Thank you for leaving this at the end. Thank you for, like, doing that because my mind is, like, in 10 different places. But no, I just want to wrap up the episode.
Yeah.
That it was, if you're in a place where you don't know how to assert yourself or you don't know how to, like, stand up for yourself, for me, think about, like, that you're standing up for somebody else. Sometimes it's easier for us to stand up for other people than it is for ourselves. So, yeah.
I'll try that next time.
Yeah, that's my wrap up.
Yeah. Okay. Well, if you enjoyed this episode, please.
We didn't even do that in the beginning or the middle. If you enjoy this episode, we'd really like to get some feedback from you. So if you can kindly, please, por el amor de Dios, go on Apple Podcasts, give us a rate, a review, share our stuff. The more visibility we get, the more that this podcast reaches to other viewers and listeners. And this is we like to do this. We really like to bring you the content, a conversation. We want feedback. What did you think of the conversation? Do you have any input? Is there another topic, another conversation that you want to start off the conversation with? We greatly appreciate it. And as a matter of fact, you know what? I'm going to ask you for another favor. If you're out there, go listen to that Latina Leadership Series. There has to be one of those Latina leaders that resonates with you.
Oh, yeah,
they have amazing stories. They have amazing, and it's actually But 75% of that conversation, 80% of that conversation is actually led by somebody else. No, it's led by me. The conversation is talked by somebody else. I just ask the questions, I navigate the conversation, and they tell their story.
Yeah, you
and
get
all
to
I
hear
do,
their perspectives.
yeah, all I do is put it in sequence for them. That's all I do. But they have amazing stories, beautiful stories that are coming up, that are coming around the way for you. Go listen to that and let me know what you also think. But
and find If Not You Then Who and Juan Words on your listening platform of choice. We're on all the podcast platforms, so just search for either one, or Facebook or YouTube. You'll find us there also. I think that was it.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Ooh.
All right. Bueno, and with that,
We'll see you next time.
see you next week.
Bye.
Bye-bye.